not paying up the running backs. Because
Oh,
I
I'm glad.
think that's the thing going around. Saquon and Josh Jacobs, neither one of them signed long-term contracts last week, and it's almost like playing running back is there's a position you really don't want to play because when it comes down to it, they're not gonna pay you.
It's the same thing that John was saying. I think was that like a month ago or like 2 months ago. John was saying that how running backs are get pretty much beat up and take the most hits and stuff, and they really don't get paid like that. I mean, I get like the quarterback is pretty much the most important piece of the team, but at the same time, you need your running game to set up a passing game. I feel like so. I mean, I agree with Chubb, Saquon, uh,
Derrick Henry, all of
Derrick
them.
Henry, Josh Jacobs, all of them. I mean, they deserve to get paid just as much as the offensive linemen, the quarterbacks, and even the DBs. So, I mean, I like what they're doing. Pretty much, they're pretty much trying to make a stand to say like, hey, we are just as important as those guys are to this game. So,
Yeah.
I like what they're doing. Like I said, it pretty much seemed like they heard John, pretty
And
much.
real quick before you go, John, I think what hurts in some cases is people like Pacheco with the Chiefs. Wasn't he like a third, fourth, fifth round pick?
Yeah,
And he was productive.
yeah.
Now, I think, the other running back they got from LSU, Clyde Edwards, he's on the outside looking in now because it's like, we don't really have to pay you. We got him at least for another 2 years on a rookie deal. So, we can give him 500,000, 600,000 and he cool, unless he becomes, a more key piece in that offense. But, I think that's the thing that kind of hurts the Josh Jacobs, the Saquons of the world. Because if you get a guy undrafted free agent that comes in and gives you 1,000 yards, you know it's kind of like, well, really don't have to pay you. Yes, you are a game changer, but we ain't really trying to give you game changing money. Because you got you just gave Daniel Jones that money, which I personally don't think he should have got because his production was off of Saquon. When you got to put 7, 8 in the box, of course he should be able to throw a receiver open. That's being one on one man coverage. Of course, you should win that. It's 8 in the box. You only got to worry about two corners and a safety. Yes, you should be productive. But it's going to be interesting to see how they look this year if Saquon decides not to play. Go ahead,
No,
John. What
you're right. But here's the thing: you're right, but and they're right. I like Walt said, I like what they're doing, but they're gonna lose. We saw this with Le'Veon Bell. The whole entire league will literally say, "Oh, you don't want to play? Fine, we ain't paying you. You can
well,
sit there as
well,
long
New-
as you
well.
want."
To that point, New York did pay him. Now I don't know how much of that contract he got, but remember the Jets paid him.
Right, and then they played him like 5 games, and then they were like, "Yeah." They did the same thing with yeah, other guys too, but they do this thing where by the way, Jets' current run back is great. I like this kid, man. I hope when he comes back, if he's healthy this year, he's going to be
I'm about
solid. Jets,
Bryce
yeah,
Hall.
Jets are going to be solid. But
Man, he be killing on Madden too.
yeah,
He
but the
do.
thing is, like a guy like Jonathan Taylor made $5 million last year, right? Now coming off being the number one running back in the NFL, arguably, obviously the best season, but obviously for me, Derrick Henry's still the best running back in the league. But like the NFL is we will see it. I don't know when, but we will see the NFL drop running backs from the NFL. It's going to happen. They're going to drop running backs. They're going to go to a 2 QB system. I guarantee it, where the QBs do all the passing and rushing. We will definitely in the future see games with 150, 160 passes in a game between the two teams, because you will have two different quarterbacks throwing, one probably throwing 50 passes and 10 rushes, the other one 20 passes and 10 rushes. Like you're gonna see teams doing this. They're gonna drop the running back. It's the NFL, and by the way, they're blaming the running backs. I read an article today saying, why are you asking for more money when you're just not that relevant anymore. Jonathan Taylor, like you said, or like I just said, he led the league 2 years ago. They missed the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Chiefs have made 5 straight AFC Championship games with a different running back almost every year. So it's like, why does it matter? And here's the thing: that's not the running back's fault. That is the NFL. They have changed the rules to benefit passing. It would be like if I muted Walt's mic all the time, and then people were like, "We like Nico better," and it's like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't pay Walt because he doesn't contribute to the show. No, no, I muted you. Like, what are you talking about? The NFL has on purpose sabotaged a key position of what
Straight to the
was football, and they've gone to this pass heavy. And by the way, you can argue maybe it's more entertaining. I don't believe it is, but that's objectionable. Some people think maybe this new NFL is more entertaining. I don't. Whatever. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But like, this is not the running back's fault. This is the NFL's fault. They have on purpose muted a position that established football for what it was from its beginning. They got rid of kick returners. They're going to get rid of running backs. I guarantee it. It'll take a little bit longer because once they start talking about it, they're going to push back, but it's going to happen, man. And so running backs, I like what they're doing. They're going to lose. Steven Jackson's been trying to have this fight forever. He has his, I forget what it's called, but like Save the Running Back website he's been trying to, do for years. By the way, no one's crying over this. These guys, like I said, Jonathan Taylor, guy's probably made like $30 million. He's like 26 years old. Not crying over this. You have made a lot of money. However, that being said, like, he's not making what all his this guy was an MVP candidate 2 years ago, and he made like half, not half, like a fifth of what receivers make nowadays. And so a tenth of what quarterbacks make. And so, I can see his argument, but at the same time, you are a millionaire. I'm not crying over it, but at the same time, I do get the argument. And so, like I said, I side with the running backs. I think the NFL's worse going to this pass heavy thing, but that's what they want. And they want the rushing quarterbacks. We're going to see a lot more rushing quarterbacks, which is why guys like Daniel Jones got paid out because that's where the NFL wants. They want the emphasis on that. And it's sad, sad. It's not sad, but it's just disappointing to see the NFL moving this direction away from the Saquons toward the Daniel Joneses. Like, a guy like Daniel Jones is worth more than Saquon in current day NFL. It's just trash. It's trash football to me, and I don't care what people say. Like, it's just that's ridiculous.
When you're as productive as like a Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, you should reap the benefits. Of making money. Making whatever the market. Well, I ain't gonna say the market because that's why they probably not getting paid now because of the market. But
yes. Yeah, he on a 3 year, 36 million with 20 guaranteed.
so he makes about 12 a year.
Yeah,
That ain't bad. That's not bad.
but I mean that's the thing. I do as much as all that facts that John was saying though. I really hope that they don't move away from the running backs though, because I like the big plays. I mean, I like the big catches, interceptions, things like that. But I also love a big run. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody busting out a 70-yarder or something like that. I like seeing that. You know what I'm saying? Especially like who was that? Marshawn Lynch when he broke like 6 tackles on that run though. Like I like seeing shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
So, New Orleans.
Yeah. I like seeing a tough 7-yard run where a guy breaks 3 tackles in 7 yards and finally gets brought down by 4 dudes. Like, even those are entertaining me. Like, that's the NFL, the NBA are trading athleticism for entertainment. It's entertainment value, and you're seeing guys like
doing more celebration dance.
I don't want to take a shot at anybody, but whatever. You have less athletic guys who are more entertaining, passing up actual athletes. Actual athletes can't get jobs because guys who are more entertaining are selling more jerseys, selling more tickets, or whatever. I don't know if they are, but that's where the NFL wants to go. I don't know if it's working or not, but that's my problem. Is athletes are getting left behind for guys for entertainment purposes, and I'm like, bro, I want to see Derrick Henry with a tough third and three or whatever get all 3 yards with three guys on his back. Like I don't need every play to be 27 yards. Even a really good 3 yard play is like that. That's crazy. Watching Jalen Hurts get all them third and short, fourth and shorts in the Super Bowl last year, or was the NFC Championship? I forget what game it was, where if it was third and short, fourth and four, like you got it every single time. Those were incredible plays, and you just they want to move away from that from the running back and go full quarterback into that. But that's just going to lead to more whatever. Right? It's just
But you know what I think though? I think what they're gonna start doing is they're gonna start trying to look for a lot more Debo Samuel kind of players. The athletes. All right, he can catch, he can run. The guys that can do it all. Debo's and the Percy Harvins. Uh,
I mean, yeah, Christian McCaffrey is the highest paid running back of all time.
but no, but what I'm
Wild, it's still wild to me, but whatever. I'm not
but
gonna get into
what I'm saying is they're gonna start going after athletes, and at the same time, even Debo Samuel said it. I don't want to be paid as a running back. Although yes, I might take 10 handoffs out the backfield a game. I'm a receiver, and I think more guys are gonna. I think the NFL is gonna go more in that direction. You're gonna start seeing. I think that's could be why the Lions took the kid out of Alabama. He's fast. He can do different things. He's a matchup nightmare. We're gonna put him out at receiver. Sometimes bring him in. It's just one of them things. I think they're gonna go away from a traditional running back. Now, how they pay him, that's gonna be, now that's another story. But I think they're gonna go more. I mean, look at Tony Pollard. He was a receiver turned running back. They let go of Zeke. Now he's the guy. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they approach it as far as paying these guys within the next 2-3 years. But yeah, they're going away from it, and you can tell. They're trying to spread it out more. I don't I don't see why Dalvin Cook is not in Minnesota anymore. But
I mean, the Eagles would have won the Super Bowl last year if they had run the ball. I truly believe that in my heart. Like on 3 straight downs, they threw, three and out, gave the ball right back to Kansas City in the third quarter, and then came out and did it again. Running.
you can
You
also
had-
see Seattle
But
wins a
Miles
second
Sanders-
Super Bowl if they run the ball too.
But Miles Sanders was one of the top running backs in the league last year, and they just went away from him in the Super Bowl. Like, is that a coaching choice, or is that like, hey, we want all the throws, we want as many throws as we can get in this game. We want it to be Jalen Hurts versus Pat Mahomes. We don't want it to be a Miles Sanders versus Pacheco. I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if television and stuff is dictating how these games go more than actual football. Like, so
especially all these betting sites now. Boy.
but if you couldn't hit Derrick Henry above the waist, right? Like imagine this dude would run off like 2,000 yards every year. I'm just saying, like if you change the rules for running backs like you do for receivers and quarterbacks, no blindside shots, none of that. Like, man, Derrick Henry, come on, he would break every record in the book. Like it's just so it's like I said, it's back to it's not the running back's fault. It's the NFL has literally sabotaged the running back the same way they did the kick return.
And you know what, too? And I was watching this thing with Ryan Clark, and he was saying even when he was in the NFL, it wasn't a lot of running backs a part of the NFLPA. And I think going forward, a lot of them should be. So you can discuss, all right, hey, how much should a running back make? Well, if I'm franchise tagged, I should make at least north of 7 or 8 million for that year. Because I'm, outside offensive lineman, I'm taking the most beating. Offensive and defensive lineman, I'm taking the most pounding.
But like you said, all your athletes, all the best athletes aren't going to want to be running backs.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Which means that all the best athletes are going to be at other positions. Which means that it will be much easier to get rid of the running back position because they're not the more entertaining players because all the entertaining players are at better positions.
But how would
And,
you? But my
sorry,
thing is,
other positions.
how would you pay him then? Would you pay him just as an athlete? Because you
No,
can't
I
put him
would
in a
change the
box.
rules. I would change the rules back to benefit running backs, or I would take away some of the rules that benefit receivers and quarterbacks. You have to make the game fair. Like I said, I cannot mute Walt and then say, well, how are we supposed to pay him if he's not talking? Like, no, he can talk all he wants, but no one's going to hear him. You have to change the rules back to make it fair for every position. That's all there is to it. So either you make it easier on running backs or you make it a little tougher on, like, it's the rules. And then you're going to see, oh, running backs are super important because whatever. And then their pay is going to come up because you're going to see how important they are.
Right.
So it's the rules. It has to start with the rules. And so the running backs, Jonathan Taylor right now is arguing for a contract, and he's trying to reach out to indie fans, to say, hey man, I need more money. That's not gonna work. The average person in Indiana makes $50,000, $40,000 a year. They're not trying to sit. They're not going to spend their time trying to make sure you make $30 million. That's not their concern. Like they want some money themselves. So the thing is, you have to go after the NFL. You don't try to go to the fans and say, which I love Jonathan Taylor. I'm a big fan of his. That's not the way to do it. It's just not the way to do it. Like, I'm not going to vouch for Nick Chubb that he needs more money. Like, I'm going to go vouch for myself to get more money. So I think the way they have to do it is they have to talk to the NFL about, hey, man, you got to change the rules. Like, there's got to be some rule changes. Either it's got to be easier on us and offense goes up for everybody. We're going to see a 2,000-yard receiver and a 2,000-yard rusher on the same team in a year. If that's what the NFL wants, then go that way. Or make it tougher on those quarterbacks and receivers.